Hey girl, what you doing? Listening to the Be Everything and More podcast, baby. Let's fucking go. Okay, I swear this happens like every time. I'm on the drive to the studio and I'm pepping myself up. I'm talking in the car like, here's what I'm going to say. And then I sit down and we do our little clap, clap, clap situation. And I'm like, deer in headlights. What the fuck was I going to say? Because this is hard to be yourself in front of a camera. I mean, we've been taught since, I don't know, as far as I can remember, when a camera points at you, what do? Say cheese. I've been so conditioned to do that. I feel like part of my magic and part of the ADHD is being able to be a little spontaneous. I've been really reflecting since we restarted this podcast and rebranded it to Be Everything and More. And I've really gone back through all the episodes and I did the thing I said I was not going to do. I came in with the intention, I guess what I'm saying, to make it me, make it Caitlin. But yet I was constantly looking at other podcasts, figuring out how are they doing it on YouTube? What do I need to talk about to be clickbaity and all of these things? At the end of the day, I'm making this podcast for me. Really, honestly, that's how this all started. And I know that. But I don't know, you just can get really swept up in the excitement, swept up in the possibility. And I always say this, I came by it truly innocently. I don't want to do that anymore. I'm sorry, okay? Do you forgive me? Um, you know, I've come back over the last couple months from 2 retreats. We went to Greece and then we did Joshua Tree. And I'll get comments like, "I love Retreat Caitlin. I love Retreat Caitlin. Oh my gosh, Retreat Caitlin is so cool." And I'm like, who the fuck is Retreat Caitlin? What does that even fucking mean? What I think that means is that um, I'm more relaxed. It's hard to be anything other than yourself, especially when you're around people for an extended amount of time. You could only be so presenting. And not that these other episodes or other versions of me were fake, because I actually am two very multiple things. I'm not just two things, but I would say I have a big woo side of me that's a bit spiritual and manifesting and believing in intuition and going with the flow and spontaneous. And I would say I live in that side 60% of the time. And the other 40% is business, logic, strategy, goals, determination, courage, let's fucking go. Yes, and very focused. I do think that there's a world where both of those can exist. And that was this is what I want. I want both of those things to come into this space because that is who I am. And that is what I created the Beam Life around concept and that duality and the ability to bring all of ourselves to the table. So what you were seeing was not fake. It was just only one part of me. This part of me wants to come and play too. That all being said, there'll be some episodes, I'm sure, that feel a bit more Coach Caitlin, a little bit more strategy based. Here we go. We're going to get hardcore. And then some that are like this, where I have zero prompt, zero anything. I just really press record and here we are. I hope that we can go on this journey together. But at the very end of the day, like I said, I'm really creating this for me, because I know that there are more me's out there. And every time I let this vulnerable side of my Enneagram 8 show, I'm always met with such compassion and such love from this community and from complete strangers, frankly, that were like, gosh, thank you for saying that. It's about fucking time that someone actually bring that concept to the table and say that this is hard. This is not for the faint of heart. And so anyway, before I go any further, I'm going to pull a card for us. I have felt intimidated to share my woo-ness a lot because I feel like I'm not woo enough for the woo or analytical enough for the business hardcore people. I've been bringing a lot of this to the table lately, like astrology and numerology and my passion for human design, tarot cards. Recently, my partner and I have been really getting into the concepts of Kabbalah, and I am spiritual. Oh my God, it feels so good to say out loud. Welcome to my coming out party. I'm going to draw a card because this is what I love to do. And so I am going to pull a message for us. Let this be whatever you want it to be. You can just completely fast forward through this section if you're like, oh God, I do not want a card pulled for me. Or you can assign it a meaning to where you feel like you want an answer right now. So let's pause a second and ask yourself a question. Okay, let me think about what my question's going to be. So while I'm thinking, I want you to think too. Okay, I got my question. Do you have yours? All right, so whoa, that one was a little jumpy son of a gun. Normally, I am doing a lot more shuffles, but I feel like that is the one for us. Like, she just came flying out of here. What I was going to tell you is that I use the Muse Tarot deck by Chris Ann. I bought this deck in Sedona, actually, the weekend my partner and I got married at this really cool psychic intuitive shop. Don't remember the name, but they also sell them on Amazon. So I will link it in the show notes. I think these cards are designed so beautiful, and the little booklet that it comes with. So I'm going to set these down, and I'm just going to go with the card that flew out at us because I feel like universe was telling us something. This card, oh, she's really pretty. I have no idea. I don't think I've actually ever drawn this card. It's the Five of Voices. For those of you just listening, it is two faces that like mirror one another, and then several women below kind of meditating, and there's some crows around, it looks like. And then there's like a beam of sunshine and an olive branch hanging above. Super cool. And I'm going to read to us right now what this little book says about Five of Voices. And again, this may or may not answer the question you had. But I don't think that anything is a mistake. Going back to the beginning of this episode, welcome, full circle. Okay, so keywords: feelings of defeat, learning from lessons of loss, fighting, winning at all cost, a time to extend an olive branch, seeing what's really important, failure, being hurt, bullying. I am going to win. I am the one who deserves this. It doesn't matter who gets in my way. Nothing will stop me. I don't care what it takes to make this happen. The muse of the Five Voices looks down, reflecting back the ways we can miss what really matters as we strive to win. Sometimes we find ourselves falling victim to someone else's ambition or iniquity, and other times it is we ourselves who are lost on the path to victory. We forget about how we should get there, and we forgo our better interests, our integrity, our balance, our humanity, in order to come out on top. Sometimes when we win, we lose. How do you want to feel at the top of that ladder you are climbing? Where does it really go? What costs are you paying to win? And what fallout is associated with those costs? Seek connection and trust, and ascend with friendship, forgiveness, and deep compassion. Okay, y'all, that's wild. Considering that I started this show sort of talking about how I lost my way a bit, even as a seasoned entrepreneur. You know, I've been at this game. November, actually this month, will be 6 years of the Beam Life podcast. Can you believe that? Even as someone who has, like, at least I feel, done so much work to understand herself, go deep, heal, I get lost. I get lost. And it is because I want to be successful. I want to be taken serious. And I want this vision that I have for the Beam Life to come into fruition. And sometimes I catch myself thinking that has to look like the way someone else is doing it. I don't know about you. I'm curious, like, if that card resonated with you, send me a little DM. Like, what came up for you? What question, if you want to share, I'd love to know, and how that landed with you. But I know for me specifically, I'm hearing it loud and clear that me kind of peeling back these layers and sharing with you this other part of me that I often, I guess, save for a retreat. Caitlin, she only gets to come out twice a year. I want to start bringing her out more, and so thank you, universe, for that confirmation. And I'd also like to ask for just a few seconds of your time to subscribe on whatever platform that you're listening on, because I'm not going to lie to you. I want to grow this show, and this show is everything to me. And it's not just this show, it's this community, because women, we muzzle ourselves, right? And I was talking to my good friend Kelly about this whole concept. She's incredible, and she literally develops her entire brand around like helping women to unmuzzle themselves, and I've just always loved that word, and so I can't say it and not think of her. But truly, like we silence ourselves, we condition ourselves, we muzzle ourselves, we get into the flow. And if we don't have a community or a coach or a friend or a mentor that says like, wake the fuck up, girl, what are you doing? Like, this is not what you want or who you are. Like, what's happening here? You're lost in the sauce a bit. We're just going to keep on going. I want this show to be that wake the fuck up for women who listen and realize like, we can be all the things. We can be the retreat version of ourselves. We can be the serious career version of ourselves. We can be the I'm crying on the bathroom floor version of ourselves. We can be the like, am I gaslighting myself right now version of ourselves. We can be the sensitive, serious, angry, rebellious, wealthy, sad, excited. Like, I want all the things here. I want all the things. I guess this is all coming up because this episode actually will be airing the day after my birthday. If you do the math, yes, I'm a very lucky 1111 baby. 11s and ones, it's like that psychic, spiritual energy. So I don't know. Maybe I was destined for the woo from the womb. Oh, did you hear that? That was pretty good. I have been thinking a lot, and as I do every birthday, I'm sure I'm not the only one. And I like to think back on this past year. This year in particular, I really dove into like last year was human design for me. This year was numerology. And I have my numerologist and friend, Renee, who comes on the podcast every single month, and we talk about the energy of the month. But we all have what's called like a personal number, a personal year number. And that personal year number really starts like on our birthday. It doesn't start like in the new year from what okay, I'm saying this like please don't come at me if you're a numerologist. But I'm like 99.9% certain I'm going to be going into my 4-year on my birthday next week, right? And I'm coming from a 3-year. 3 years are connection, communication, joy, self-expression, creativity, like just pumping things out, creating, doing all of the things. It's a big energy. And I'm moving into a 4, which is a bit more strategic, grounded, logical, foundation. And I would say that a younger Caitlin would be a bit fearful and nervous about those words. Grounded, foundation, strategic. Only because I'm very familiar with the chaos. Like, I know chaos. I know creating a ton of things and pumping it out and social gatherings. Like, that's my wheelhouse. That's my jam. Leo rising. I mean, hello. And so this year, this energy feels in the past, I think I would have been like, oh shit, like, does that mean I need to be like very serious now? And actually, I don't think that's what it means at all. What I'm interpreting the 4 as is let me like strip away any distractions. And what's funny is that this is happening simultaneously at the end of a 9-year. So 2025 is a 9 for everyone. Okay. It's a collective number. And we've talked about this a lot on the Energy podcast, but 9s are endings. It's where we tie the bow. It's where we complete a cycle before we start next year on a 1. So 2026 is gonna be a 1 energy, and so what I think is interesting is I'm going into this 4 at the end of the 9 year, and it's really having me think about what do I want to leave behind this year? And what am I really proud of and excited about taking with me and changing and evolving with in the years to come? And what I'll say is that the things I'm really proud of, because I created a lot this year, the things I'm really proud of are the spaces I developed along with the support of this community and a team to bring women together. I actually don't think there's anything that excites me more than either being in a room full of women, creating a room full of women. Like, we are just freaking magical. We're so magical. And it's an infectious energy that every time I do it, it stays with me just long enough because I usually try to get that like connection and opportunity as much as I can. So it's like that energy stays with you. And it's something that I feel like in a world of AI and in a world of technology and Zoom rooms and all of the things, like we need our people. We need our gang. And it's important that we don't lose sight of these opportunities. And so when I look back and I think out of all the things I created, that is something I want to create more of. I want to create opportunities for us to see each other in person, to like touch arms, to embrace, to laugh, to cry, do all the things, to rage. Like I'm even thinking about like, why wouldn't we do some like rage room parties? We did do some screaming in the desert. That was pretty fun. But I'm thinking like if we had some baseball bats and some goggles and like smashing some shit, like hello, don't tempt me with a good time. But that's really when I think, okay, that's what I want to bring forward. Something that I have decided to close the doors on, which I was pretty emotional about. I just told my membership this week, but I decided to close my membership that I've had for, oh my gosh, when did I start that? I'm thinking at least 3.5 years now, maybe 4. And it's changed into different things, but we have met twice a month for the last 4 years. And a lot of the women who started in the membership are still in the membership 4 years later, just because of the community and the safety that has been built within that room. And I didn't close it because it's not working or I don't love it, but I closed it because I know, like, with integrity, that's not the best use of my energy right now. And that's really hard to say. It's really hard to shut off an income source, if I'm being honest. For those of you that follow my partner and I on social media, you know, you may or may not know that like my partner has changed from the film and television industry. They have gone freelance instead of being employed formally, like in a 9 to 5 capacity. And that has dramatically changed our income. You know, as a entrepreneur my entire life, I've been like this forever. And less so now in recent times, but nothing is guaranteed in the world of entrepreneurship. And being married to Dee, especially in the beginning of the Beam Life, there was a lot of stability there. There was a lot of comfort. There was a lot of like, there was a safety net there for us, right? And I knew like, oh gosh, God forbid if the Beam Life made no money this month, I have a partner that has money. Like, woo! Little by little, like the Beam Life has continued to grow and is finally at a place where I'm like, okay, wow, like she's doing her thing. Like, look at you go, Beam. I love this for you. And right when that was happening, this whole thing happened with my partner's job and the company for not giving too much focus on that went bankrupt. Okay. And so it was one of those things that was a shock to the system. And that's kind of how we started this year. So I naturally go into my default mode, which is like problem solver. I'm in a personal year 3. Let's create. Let's go. Let's pump. And so I've just been this like energizer bunny. So to bring it back full circle, to cut off that income stream and like publicly tell all of them, like, I'm so sorry, I'm closing the space and it's not you, it's me, is a big growth spurt for me. And I don't know that I like this yet, but I am proud of me. I am proud of me because I have, I think I've talked about this on the show before, but I don't struggle with perfectionism. And I know if you're a perfectionist, I don't want you to hate me because I struggle very much with the other, which is the people pleasing part. And I know that might not feel super obvious. Like I said, Scorpio, Leo rising, Aries moon, it gives a lot of I don't give a fuck energy, but I actually do give a fuck. I do. And I know who I am. I'm very sure of what I say. I'm sure of my message. But I do care if you like me. And I do care if you're happy. And I do care, and I know everyone says, like, you shouldn't care. What people think of you is none of your business. And that's all good and well. But I'm still telling you that that's definitely a very open wound of mine is like, I do want to make people happy. And I do want people to enjoy being in the Beam life and like be excited about being in community with me and all of those things. And so anyway, I'm proud of me because this is not something I would have been able to do, I don't think, 2 years ago. And in fact, I thought about doing this probably about 6 months ago, and I've been chickening out ever since, um, because I love this community. I love the membership community so much. And so, anyway, I don't wanna spend too much time on that because I wanna focus on all the good, but also I think it's important to tie that bow and reflect and also share with you in full transparency some of the things that happen behind the scenes. Um, Social media is one thing. And I think actually going back to the beginning of this, when people say retreat, Caitlin, I think often if you were to just look at my Instagram and like you don't know me at all, you would think this girl's got it like pretty together. She looks pretty successful to me. And I am together. I am successful. That is none of that, again, just like I said with the other episodes, none of that is a lie. My business is doing well. Um, I love who I work with. I could work 5 million days in a row and never feel like I'm working. All of that is absolute truth. But it also doesn't mean that it's not hard or that I don't struggle or that I don't get sad or that I don't get anxious or that I don't worry about like what's next? Like, is this really going to work? And of course it is. It is working, right? But it doesn't mean I don't have days where I think, what am I doing? I don't know. I wish I had heard that a little bit more as I started this because I think, again, I have built a lot of parts of my business and hired many coaches and paid for a lot of programs thinking if I just did that thing, that was also going to be the answer for me. And I got something out of every single one of those programs. But at the end of the day, I was still left with me. And I was like, okay, what is it that I signed up for this thing for? What was I looking for? And the answer wasn't actually in that program or in that course. It was learning how to be more me. And I've realized that the work I want to do with female business owners is that identity work. I want to go deep with you. I don't know if this is your first date with me. I'm sorry, but I do. I want to go deep with you. I want to know you. I want to understand what's happening behind the veil, behind the curtain, because you could want your business to get to the next level. But if you're having problems with your spouse or you feel timid about talking about money with your partner, hi, been there. If you are, if you have a kid with special needs like me and your nervous system is often dysregulated, like that's going to impact your business. If you have been, you know, have a ton of childhood wounds and you haven't reflected on that, that's going to impact your business and your belief system because our beliefs impact every single thing that we do next. And I've realized that I have to cut out all the distractions so that I can do this deep work with the women who feel called to go there because it's not for everyone. And not everyone needs this kind of coaching. But I'm your girl if that's what you're wanting to do. And I realized that in order for you to trust me to go there, you need to see that that's me too. I need to be the one that lights that path for us and says like, "Hey, I don't have it all figured out either." Like this isn't something that I wake up every day naturally being like, "Yes, I got this on lock." It's a constant state of reflection. I'm always trying to remember like the universe has my back. I'm always trying to focus on the highest good. Like, what is that highest version of me want? And she wants me to be relaxed. She wants me to be joyful. She wants me to be connected. She wants me to be rich. She wants me to be very in my own power. And the only way we can do that is to cut out the distractions or anything else that are not serving us to get where we want to go. And we have to have the hard conversations. We have to do the things that feel like sticky. For example, the whole membership thing with me. And really like facing the things that have kept us stuck. And for me, that has been finances. So I feel like that needs to be a whole other podcast because again, that deserves its own light. And I feel like I've teased, but I keep teasing it because I honestly am scared to go there. And it's not scared because, well, yeah, I am scared. I'm scared y'all are gonna be like, she's a fraud. She doesn't know what she's talking about. Oh, she struggles with money. Successful people aren't supposed to struggle with money. What? Doesn't even make sense. It makes no sense. But why is our head trash so rude sometimes? It really is. Anyway, I have head trash too. And I feel like as a 1-3 human design, this is my calling to do all the experimenting, to do all the fucked up shit so that you don't have to do it. And we can talk about it. And you can also be like, oh my God, I could literally tell her anything because she's probably done it. And that is true. I mean, oldest sibling here too. I feel like my brother and sister had it so easy because if there was a rule to be broken, if there was something to fuck up, if there was something to like get in trouble, sneak out, like I did everything. So by the time like first of all, my sister did nothing. My brother went through like a mini rebellious phase, but there was nothing they could do to hold a candle to the disaster that I left behind. So they both looked so perfect. So anyway, I've taken that into business coaching. And the thing is, like, I don't share enough about that because, again, it's my own fear of like, what happens if somebody were to know that, God forbid, you've made a mistake before, Caitlin. And what I've realized is the people I love the most are the ones who share the real shit. Share the real shit. So anyway, this is Retreat Caitlin. I hope you like her as much as everyone else does because I kind of love her too. And it's felt really fun to bring her on the podcast today. And it feels only natural as I move into the last year of my 30s on Tuesday. I can't believe it. 39, 39. Oh my God. It feels really good. I feel really, really good. And I'm excited for what's next for all of us. I feel so emboldened and just, I don't know. I have a hope for all of us. It's been a really rough year for us personally. I know, God, I'm not even going to get into politics on this show, but it's rough out there, y'all. It's rough. And we can do nothing except be the light, be the beam, be the beam, because that's all we can do. And I know that, women are 51% of the population. And if we all commit to being the fucking beam, I don't know, we might be able to be competition for that sun up there because we be bright. We be bright. So Let's do that. Let's commit to being the beam. Let's come together. Let's connect. Let's be messy. And yeah, I don't know. I've run out of things to say, which is pretty impossible for me. But I'm thinking next episode, we're probably going to tap into the money shit. I know I need to talk about it. I've been avoiding it, and I don't know. Avoidance is not a good thing. When we avoid something, red flag. So I'm going to stop avoiding it. We're going to come here, dig through it together, pull back the curtains, and this is that space to do that. So I love you so much. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. I love this community so fucking much. And I will be back here next week. Be sure to like, subscribe, share, do all the things. Thanks so much. Be the beam.
Treat Caitlin. House.
It was good, right? I felt very me. I felt very me.